Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I wanted to take a few minutes to review with you Learning Module 5, the iSearch documented paper. The iSearch is an independent search, or some people look at it as far as I, meaning my personal search, and it's really a fun assignment, and I want you to take advantage of doing this assignment because this is where you get to talk about your search, your research, and what you found out. You may not have the opportunity to do that again. I would say that this assignment more or less gets you ready for your dissertation, because in your dissertation, when you actually plan for it, you come up with certain questions that you would like to find answers for, and then you go through the search of finding those answers, and then you write about your results. This particular paper, the iSearch paper, you write about your study, or you write about your actual search. So I only have a few minutes with this free version of Cast-O-Matic, so I'm just going to take a few minutes and go through what is required. The objectives and the related outcomes is to develop an expert opinion about one of the following topics. There are 3 topics. You are to choose one of them: women and leadership, culture, and leadership ethics. You want to be able to have an expert opinion. To get that expert opinion, you have to do some research and read. So we've given you the 3 chapters in North House which actually deal with those 3 topics. That way you'll have a base or a foundation. You won't be in left field. So if you turn in a paper and you're talking about something in women and leadership that is really far out, then I'll know that probably you didn't do any research or find out what are some of the real issues and concerns. So make sure you look at North House 14, 15, and 16. As always, don't forget to use the PowerPoint presentations, which are enhancements for the chapters. A little bit about the 3 topics. You are going to pick one of these in order to form your expert opinion, and they're very good topics. You may feel that you've known or you do know a lot about these topics. I had one student, a male student, who really did not feel that there was any discrimination against women in higher ed or in leadership per se, and so they were really very surprised when they found out that they were not, or they still aren't, that many female presidents in the community colleges. Same for culture and leadership. As I read through many of your papers over the past few weeks about leadership approaches, one thing in the back of my mind was culture. Many of these approaches are really great, but if you're in a certain culture, they may not work. And it could be a southern culture, some of the southern schools may be a little bit different than the northern schools. Maybe your university is a very traditional school. There's not, or maybe a university is a very traditional school, so there's not a lot of change per se. Or ethics. We've heard about the Pennsylvania State concerns and controversy over the last couple of years, and that has a lot to do with ethics. So there is a lot out there, and your assignment is to do the iSearch paper and come up with an expert opinion. Now, as always, you are to have a cover page and a citation page, and being that this is a little bit longer, you might have 2 citation pages, but your context is not to exceed 10 pages. It can be less than that. Let's look at maybe 7, 8, or 9. If you turn in 5, then that's not enough, even though it doesn't say that, but I feel that since this is a doctoral class, you should take the opportunity to do good quality, rich research and be able to write a very good narrative of your study. So I'm saying at least have 7 pages, no more than 10. If you do go over 10, that's okay, but please don't try to go over 10 by much. And then do not overlook the references at the end of the chapters for additional reading in North House. So I want to make sure you are aware of that. You don't have a lot of time, so instead of maybe going on the internet and looking for additional resources, look at the end of each chapter. Now, brief overview. in this assignment, you are going to answer 4 questions. Please make sure that you include these 4 parts in your paper. It's very important because when I do go to grade your paper, I am going to be looking for these 4 points. I'm going to be reading to find out if you have actually answered the questions or have you satisfied the requirements. Number 1, what you knew and did not know about the topic when you started the search. Number 2, what you wanted to find out. Number 3, the story of your search. And this is really where you get to be creative. You know, did you go to the internet? Did you go to the library and find books? Did you talk to people at your school? Did you read different articles? And as you read the articles, maybe you were getting upset because you didn't realize there was that much discrimination against women in higher ed, or maybe you were very interested in how some cultures in different schools were adamant about changes, and that sort of made you upset because you didn't see how certain things were going to get done, etc., etc. Number 4, what you learned and what you will do with the information. Not asking you to change the world, but maybe you might find that you'll be more aware of certain things, and maybe you might write articles in the future about it, or maybe you might just do more reading, and anytime you have the opportunity to express your opinions to others, you may be able to do that. So, the iSearch documented essay, it is easy and it's enjoyable, and it avoids the abstract writing that's found in the typical research paper. So this time, as I mentioned, in this particular exercise, you get to give your opinion, and you don't have to have that type of research writing, which you are going to develop more as you go through this program. So this is why it's important for you to take advantage of this assignment so you can just write. Primary and secondary resources, and then look at number 3, your own thinking about the topic. That's very, very important. Okay, now this is what I'm looking for in the iSearch paper. If you format your paper with your topic and you had a part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, that's great, because now I know that you're covering all the parts that are required for the assignment. You don't have to use these titles per se, but I think it's very important that you follow this format. That way I know you've answered the questions, and I can also tell where you've answered the questions. There are some folks, not a lot of folks in this class, who have trouble with organization, and they're all over the place. So if you format it like this, I'll be able to look at part 1 and see whether or not you've answered or you've handled the criteria in part 1. So there's 4 parts. Part 1, what I knew and didn't know about the topic. Part 2, what I wanted to find out. Part 3, the story of my search. And part 4, what I learned and what information means to me. A couple of tips here. Read for overall enlightenment, not just for answers to questions, and really do this. Make sure that you pick a topic that you're interested in. What answers have you found? Did you discover any new areas of interest? Did you discover controversies or differences of opinion? When you find generalizations about your topic, how do your various sources handle those generalizations? Maybe there's a generalization that women aren't there yet to be leaders. You know, I'm sure you won't find that, but I'm just trying to give you an example. And how do you view your topic after consulting a variety of sources? You might discover there were things you didn't know, or you might say, hey, I knew that all along. And I was wondering about all those leadership approaches, because even though they sound great, they may not work in different cultures or different areas of an institution. What is the importance of your subject? And what difference does it make whether we study your topic or not? That's something you're going to find out in your dissertation. You know, when you pick a topic, what difference does it make? Why does anyone want to know that? Is it just a small group of people who want, or is it just you? So you want to more or less think about this and put down what difference does it make. Okay, the module is worth 40 points. And I'll probably give you a little bit more time to do this next weekend. I believe it's due on Saturday, so I have a little bit of time. Since you all have been really very good in turning your assignments in on time, I'm going to say perhaps let's get these assignments in on Sunday night, November, let me make sure that I have the dates right, 17th. And then that way I will be able to grade them and get your grades to you either by Wednesday or Thursday of the following week, because we are required to turn in grades shortly after the final assignment. Okay, if you have any question about any of what we talked about or any additional questions, please don't hesitate to email me or call me. I'm pretty much available, and no question is a dumb question, and some of you have been really very good in contacting me when something is not clear. So have fun with this assignment, and I'll be talking to you online.